Okay, so in the previous videos, we we imported our model, we created collisions, we've created memory points, and then uh, last thing we created was a skeleton for the weapon, which we can see here. Um, you can verify the skeleton is working by clicking on a bone, moving it, and making sure that part of the weapon also moves. So you've done all that, and then if you've seen my previous video on the just kind of explaining the basics of animations, um, which isn't necessary for this, but hopefully it is helpful to people. You've done all that, and then you go to look at your gun in your prefab, and you get met with this monstrosity. The safety is broken, completely broken off. The bolt is not where it should be. The sights are still upright, which is good. But yeah, your gun just looks broken. We hop into the world editor, our little test world here. You spawn in, you grab your gun, and we'll see if the bolt moves. Okay, bolt's moving. And does the safety work? It's moving, it's just not in the right spot at all. So if you watch my previous video, you get kind of my explanation of what the heck is happening there. So what we need to do is we need to create proper animations for our armature for this weapon. That will fix that. And that's what I'm going to cover here. So to do that, I'm going to get, should just be 2 files. This is again just what I'm doing for this weapon. If you're doing a character animation, you might need more, but I want to take the workspace for the AK-74 and I'm going to copy it to my project, renaming it, of course, and then since I'm just concerned with the weapon animations, we've already seen that the character animation should work just fine. I'm going to take the AK-74 weapon instance, duplicate that one also. So again, as I explained in that previous video, this is kind of just like a spreadsheet of, or like references to a bunch of animations. And right now, our weapon is pointing to the vanilla AK-74 logic or graph, and it's pointing to the vanilla animations, which are made for a different armature. So we're going to make a new one of just this with animations for our armature, and that's what we're going to put in here, and then that should fix the whole situation. So I've duplicated these over. By default, I don't think it's going to let me edit many things here. Yeah, everything's locked. So the way I've been bypassing that is I'm going to find these files. If you just hit Show in Explorer, it'll open it up on your computer. You can just edit these with a text editor. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to delete the meta files. These are basically information for the game to identify these as something part of our mod. When I do that, it'll give me the option to register and import these. I'm going to do that there. I'm going to go back here. That'll have recreated those meta files, and if I open up the workspace, I can see it's pointing to the AK-74 animation instance. Well, I want it to point to my new one, so I open up this meta file, Right here I have the name for the new one. And then I'm going to plug that in right here without the extra quotations because that'll break it. I'm going to hit save. So now if I open this, I should be able to edit the AKSU animation file. And what it's done is it's brought over all the it's just duplicated that file, but now I have the ability to edit it, whereas before I did not. We don't need to worry about editing the graph because, again, our weapon behaves the exact same, and we don't need to worry about editing the player instances because I'm not changing any character animations. It should all work. What I will do is replace these preview models. I will replace the weapon with my own. So it's good to, when you're working on character animations, it's good to, when you have a character as a preview model, kind of throw the weapon in there also. So that's what I'll do. And you'll see it's at his feet. We can just go here, and it's essentially asking what bone do you want to attach it to. We're going to attach it to the right hand prop. Now it looks exactly like it did before I deleted those. And then we're going to add another preview model. This is just going to be the weapon alone, and this is how we'll be able to preview our animations on the weapon. So the weapon looks normal here. We just saw in game, it's completely broken, everything's blown up, but looks normal here. What you're going to see as you click through some of these, it's going to break. So the bolt pose animation, that's broken. Finger trigger in, totally fine. In fact, moves nothing on the gun, so I'm not going to touch that. And I'm just going to click through each of these green dots and look at what's broken. Which animations are broken. So we know the bolt pose is broken. We know the fire is broken. Idle, completely fine. We don't need to touch it. Idle finger, completely fine. Nothing. Insert mag, you can see it breaks the mag release here. That's in the wrong spot. So remove mag, I assume that is somehow in the right spot, so we don't have to touch that. A lot of times I've found out I've had to touch that, but I'm in luck. I don't have to touch that on this. Obviously action bolt, we've known that the bolt bone is not the same as the AK-74, so we're going to have to remake that one. Same with safety. It's just not going quite as far up. So we'll have to fix that. And sight. Yep, that's going to be broken too. Just one, it's rotating in the wrong direction, and it's not rotating where we want it. There are no animations for this. Switch mode. Doesn't seem like anything's moving, so we don't need to do that. Nothing moving there. And then trigger. Trigger's working somewhat decently, so we don't even have to touch trigger. So we really got to mess with bolt animations. I should have to change 1, 2, 3, and 4 animations. So this, those are going to be the 4 animations we need to do, and the good news is we've created the necessary files. These are the 2 big ones. What we can do now is go to our prefab, and we can point our weapon to these new files. Now again, we don't need to touch the player because we're not making character animations. We've seen those fit pretty well. The only thing we need to touch is this one instance. And so we're going to throw in our new one. Okay. We're going to save. Obviously, this didn't change anything. you know, the bolt's still in the wrong position. That's because this instance that we created, we haven't replaced any of the animations to it. Those are still pointing to vanilla animations, so no change. But now as we change them in that animation workspace, it'll start to reflect on the prefab. So I will dedicate the next video to creating all of these animations and hopefully talk through that a little bit more.